Three, two, one, roll the footage. Welcome back, everybody, to the Strategy Sprints podcast. I'm Severino, your host, and my guest today is Organic Sales King, partner of two Fortune 100 companies, and founder of Get Organic Sales and Care Ultima. Up next, his coaching program, helping coaches and consultants leverage other people's audience. How neat is that? Welcome, everybody, Ryan Peck.
Hey, thanks, Simon. So excited to be here.
Yeah, I love it. We will talk how to validate your next idea before actually creating it. But of course, also about your coaching program and how people can leverage the audiences of other people, which is amazing and really relevant
Yeah,
right now. So,
absolutely.
what are you currently creating?
Yeah, so thanks for the introduction, and thank you so much for having me on here. I love doing podcasts. It's a pleasure. But yeah, so currently now I'm working on my organic sales system. I'm so excited about it. My coaching program I put together not too long ago, actually. It was a lot of kind of years in the making. Should I do it? Shouldn't do it? The timing was right, and so I put together my organic sales system, which basically you just said it. Basically, I help other coaches, consultants, service providers build expert authority immediately by leveraging other people's audiences. And that can be through getting on a TV show or getting on a radio show or even a podcast, but basically, you just, when you get on a TV show, when you get on a radio show, you're in there and you're automatically the expert within minutes, within seconds. You're the expert, in the room about a certain subject. And you can leverage that audience to help you grow your business and build expert authority and build credibility and get more people to follow you and generate organic sales. And so I have a whole coaching program on this, the organic sales system. I'm so excited about it because it's been great so far, and I'm passionate about it too. So that's, besides enjoying the Christmas holidays right now, this whole COVID stuff, but it's Christmas season. We're 2 days before Christmas. I love this season, favorite time of the year. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I love it.
I love it. Let's get directly into it because I was on television, I was on TED, etc. It did just bring like nice PR, but zero business. And then there are other things which are boring and just our systems that really grow businesses. So what should people create around that expertise to really turn that into clients?
Yeah, no, great question. One is capturing the audience, and then continue to build that audience even after the show. And I came across this a while back by mistake, actually. I was doing some outreach campaigns, and I got on a huge nationally syndicated radio show. Dr. Diane Hamilton. She has up to 4 million listeners per episode, and I was on tons of podcasts, worldwide. And in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. I was having a ton of people come to my site, people starting to follow me, but I didn't really know how to continue that excitement, continue it on after, the radio show or the TV show or whatever. I didn't know how to do that. And so it wasn't until after that I realized, well, the audience is interested in your message. They literally just spent 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes listening to you, to your message, to go on Facebook and a paid ad until we get thousands of people to sit there and listen to your video for 30 minutes to an hour. That's going to cost you thousands of thousands of thousands of thousands of dollars. But they're literally doing it in different, whether it's a TED show, or if you're invited to speak at a symposium, or if you're just a guest on a podcast or radio show or TV, or whatever the audience case is, continuing to leverage it after the show I found is key, because I wasn't doing that. People were coming to my site, they loved it, and then I was just kind of just abandoning them after that. So I continued to nurture them, feed them, what I talked about on the show, to continue to feed them, value, and then it translated into lots of sales. And I think that was the key that I was missing in the beginning, that now I'm teaching people how to do now is you have to continue to leverage that even after the show as well.
Love it. And how did you manage to keep nurturing them? Because you don't get the leads from a TV show.
No.
What did you design in terms of flow and experience?
Yeah, so there's different ways of doing it. One way is everyone has their different kind of specialties. I mean, if someone's big on social media, then obviously, you want to promote your social media and communicate through social media. If someone's big on emailing and capturing their email, then you got to continue to, feed them, after the email. So it depends on what route you're going. What I found it works for me. Now, like I said, every coach is different. Every consultant is different. Every business is different depending on what your strength is and, where you have, where you feel most comfortable in communicating with your audience. But for me, I found the best way is to basically give them value up front after the show to bring them into you. So usually after every show, I have a special page created just for a specific audience. And I say, hey, if you want, if you want a free master class, I have a free master class that I dive in an hour really deep into the subject, an hour and a half, hour deep after the subject. I have a free master class for your audience. Go to this site, and it's reserved specifically for the audience. So, for example, like after this, when they say, hey, where can you find more about me? I'll say, go to getorganicsales.com/strategy sprints. So I have a special URL dedicated just for this audience. That's it. And you can create, it takes seconds to create a new URL. So if you're doing a TEDx show, same thing, drive them to a page specifically for that particular audience, and they'll go in and flow to that particular page. And it could be different. Some people, but I found giving away something free immediately, draw them in, you create that sort of exchange immediately. And then you can just continue to talk to them, nurture them. I mean, it's a win-win for everyone. You went on a show, a TV show, a podcast, a radio show. You delivered incredible value. It was exciting, and we all work together. It's synergistic. So that I found that was key for most people, and you really have to give something away to draw them in immediately right after the show and continue that relationship.
I love
a lot of people making mistakes there is not doing that.
I love this tactic. And you are one of the guests that really gets it, because some guests, they say, for example, here, everybody has the chance to do that, but just 3% of the guests do it. Put in the work to create a landing page, to do this / according to your host, because they think, well, it's not scalable. Mm-hmm. First, it is, because you can change that landing page just a little bit for the next one, and it's not so much work if you do it efficiently. Second, growth starts with things that are not scalable at the beginning, and then of course you make them scalable, but at the beginning you put in the value. And this tactic really works. When I am on big podcasts, for example, I am at John Lee Dumas' Entrepreneurship on Fire a couple times a year, because I love it, but especially because every time I create a /fire, here the people run through this door you cannot imagine.
It just blows up.
Yeah, and it's perfect, and it has created like so much more business than the TED or TV, because of exactly this tactic that you just gave away to everybody. So this is super, super helpful. People go back, listen again, and do it.
Do it immediately. And it's easy to do. It's not that hard. You just change the URL, which takes a second. You can change the verbiage inside. It takes a second. And but it's so much value in the appearance. You draw them in. It's a win-win. But no one does it. But it works. It works so good. And I think that's the key, is the really leveraging, a radio show or TV show or a podcast, leveraging that opportunity and to continue that momentum even after the show. I think that's the key right there.
Absolutely. So the next question, and I'm super excited, who you will pick for the strategy award in a second. You can pick only one person. Who do you pick?
I would pick a guy named, and I don't know if people have heard of him, maybe they have or haven't. His name is Tanner Chidster. He's a fellow, I guess, business coach out there. And I've been super impressed with him. I mean, I've been in a lot of coaching programs. Whether I paid high ticket coaching programs or just bought some, low ticket material or whatever, but I've digested and spent lots of money like other people as well, and a lot of different coaches and programs. And I've been blown away and impressed by Tanner Chitster and the system that he's put together, which has just been amazing. That guy, he's just blowing it up right now. Well, one, financially, I think he's on pace this year, I believe, to do like 25 million or something. And he's just absolutely blowing it up with that. But the system he put together, it's so systematic, and it's just blown my mind apart. He doesn't miss a beat from really bringing in the clients up the value ladder. He has a solid system. You talk about, like leaks, in your system. He's plugged them all. I've just been so amazed about how fluid his system is and the little things he does to make sure he maximizes and gets the most every step of the way has just blown my mind. So hats off. And he's fairly new. I believe he's only been in the coaching business for 2 or 3 years, but he's just, he's a brilliant guy, smart guy, and knows what he's doing. I've just been impressed with him. So that would be the person.
Beautiful. I'm also curious about the 3 books that most influenced you.
3 books. Absolutely. That's a great question, but I'd have to go, and you may have heard these. Some of these might be common answers, but it's what really influenced me. And one of them is obviously Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets. He has a few there. I really enjoy the Expert Secrets book. That was just, for me, a couple of years ago, that was just game changing. It was an eye opener, for anyone here who's interested in creating some sort of online business and presence. This is like a staple, what you need to have when it comes to, creating a solid system and expertise and generating an online business wherever you're at. Even if it's not online, you can still apply these concepts to brick and mortar as well. But Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets, the guy is a master and brilliant when it comes to online marketing and establishing a culture. And just, he goes into so much stuff, and he gives simple analogies. He teaches simple, but Expert Secrets, I believe, would be one of the top 3 for me. Not in any particular order, but Expert Secrets. Second one would be, this is a fairly new book, Dan Henry's Millionaire Secrets. Dan Henry, if you guys haven't heard of him, he's awesome as well. He's been he started off as a Facebook ads coach about 4 years ago, actually joined his first program years ago. And now he's just evolved into, #1 best-selling author. And like I said, his book is Millionaire Secrets. And he has high-ticket programs now in coaching. But the book is so good. It's short, which I like. Dan Henry's, it's a short book. It's simple reading. Chapters are short, so it's very easy to digest. And he just teaches anyone who's interested in taking their expertise and creating a business out of their expertise. But he breaks down the steps and he simplifies the process. And so it's easy to digest, easy to follow. And the third one, which isn't so much of a known book, at least I haven't really found people that have read it, but I love it. And it's called The Fearless Mind by Craig Manning. And this is more of a mindset book. And so he lives, I believe, up in Utah. It's Dr. Craig Manning, actually. He's a doctor. And I guess a lot of colleges pay him to help them with their mindset, for athletes. The U.S. Olympic team has hired him in the past to travel with the Olympic team to help them, during the Olympics, to help them get in the right stage of mind. And there's just so much value in that book. And it's a very simple book. It's short, simple, easy to read, but there's so much value in it when it comes to the mindset. It's just great, and he just makes you realize that a lot of our fears, obstacles, what's holding us back, all of it is in our mind. But the way he lays it out and the examples and analogies he gives, it's just so good. And it's just, after reading it, there's no way that someone can read the whole thing and not just feel good and empowered after reading the book. Whatever you do, you can do anything. But after reading that book, there's no way you're going to read it and not feel better about yourself and not be more confident and not be more excited about doing things after reading the book. So that's my third one.
I loved how fired up you are when you talk about these 3 books. They really change something. And what are some practices or routines that you extracted out of there that you are still doing?
Yeah. So With the Fearless Mind, I read that one for my first time, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, I would say. And then now, still till this day, every morning, this is a common routine, that I've heard other people do, but it wasn't until I read that book I started doing it. Every morning when I get up, I say 3 things that I'm grateful for. And I mean, people do that even not reading this book. People have done that as well, but it was from this book that really inspired me to try and do things daily to keep my mind fresh and grateful and on the right path. So every morning when I get up, I repeat out loud so I can verbally hear it, 3 things that I'm grateful for. It could be anything. And I tried to make it not repetitive. Every day I can say I'm grateful for my wife and my 3 kids. My wife, my 3 kids. And that's 4 things. But I try and change it up every day if I can, because it really expands your mind to really not just go through the routine. When you go through the routine of saying it, not really thinking, there's not much emotion into it. But when you try and make it different every day, you actually take the time and think and put emotion into it. And even it's just like a minute, but really get your mind in the right state of mind to really start the day fresh and just feel better about whatever chaos is going on in our lives. But it's just that minute, you just feel good and get you on the right path daily.
I love it. And I do it in the evening, the 3 things I'm grateful for. And it's exactly the same. It was always Francisca, Alessandro, Federico, Francisca, Federico. And then I started doing variations. But for weeks, it was because, of course, that's the first 3 things that pop up.
Yeah.
And now I'm like the wind, the sun, the earth, Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Variations.
You're right. You just start thinking and you start feeling it. And then I even got my 6-year-old to do it with me sometimes. And just the other day, I asked him and he's like, electricity. And it's like, yeah, like, there's little things that we don't think about, that when you start thinking, you're like, all these things can Wi-Fi and, you just start expanding it.
Electricity. I'm so grateful. On our dinner table, over our dinner table, there's a big painting, and it's called The History of Electricity. And it's about how electricity came up. And I am grateful every day for electricity. It's part of our what catapulted our civilization forward.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so he's absolutely right. And I'm inspired because I don't do this with my kids, but I could start integrating them. We only do in the evening. What was your highlight? What was bad? And what made you sad? What made you angry?
Yeah.
But I could incorporate that. I love it.
Yeah.
So now you have a CEO tip for us that we should validate first and then put money into it.
Yes. I think, just on a personal level and experience with me and students and stuff, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we as business owners make, is sometimes we just get so excited about a new idea, a new company, and like, a new product, whatever. I'm going to go and invest all my time over the next month and just dive into it. This is going to be game changing. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to dive into it and spend all my time and money on it. Then you go to launch it, and it's just no one's interested. No one wants it. And it's like, that's happened to me. It's happened to so many people out there as well, but it's a learning experience. And so, yes, validating the idea before you create it. It's free. It's easy. If we did it in seconds, that's the best way. That's the best advice I can give, is before you start your next idea, whether it's a full-on company or just a product or whatever, validate it first before you actually invest your time and money into it. And it's literally as simple as asking your audience. If you're in Facebook, or if you have an email list or an Instagram, literally, if your next idea is about a certain thing, then literally go on there and just say, hey guys, I'm so excited. I'm putting together this, whatever it is, whatever the idea is, weight loss program for this and this, who here would be interested in learning more about it? And just see if responses start. It's as simple as that. It really is. You don't have to pay for ads, or you just got to just go to your warm audience around you and just ask them. And if you get responses saying yes, then the next step you can do is you create a free resource. Hey, I'm going to do a free training on it. There's a lot of responses that said, yes, they're interested. I'm going to do a free training in 4 days from now. Please kind of watch the free, who here wants to access the free training? And if people say, yes, they're interested, they go to their free training, then there's definitely an audience for buying the product. And that's a mistake that I've made before, and others that have, well, it could be a costly mistake financially and even timely, with your time. But just validating the product, the idea first before investing in it. It's something you can do today. If someone here listening has an idea they've been wanting you to do, go on Facebook right now or Instagram or your email list, wherever your audience is, and just ask them, hey guys, I'm so excited to have this idea I'm putting together. Who here would be interested in learning more about XYZ? And just see if people respond. And if they do, then your idea is validated, and taking it a little further.
I love it. Now, my first launch flopped so miserably. I did a class at MIT on product innovation. And then I thought, I can do this better. So I'm going to build it. I'm going to sell it. And I know how to do it much better. So I built it for 3 months, and then I launched it. Ta-da! It's ready. Who wants it? And it flopped, of course. And what I learned is, first, only because you think it's better doesn't mean it's better. It's better when the market says it's better. So what I would do now, I would create only the first 3 modules. I would involve like just super fans, the top 10% clients for free in the first 3 modules, do it completely customized for them from A to Z, and then standardize it. And while I standardize, I would pre-launch, make some buzz around it, do some challenges to collect people who and get excitement, and then I would let them in at full price. When it's validated, when there is a community that has tested it, and when I know it's working. And so, this is how you learn as an entrepreneur, right?
It is. And it makes the biggest difference, right? Like going through the validation process, and when you launch, you have buzz already, you have testimonials already, and you're not wasting your time on something that's just not going to work.
And right now I'm launching so much more lean. I just pick 10 people who would really profit from it. And I say, hey, come in, it's half price. Then they come in and we develop it. And then more people come in and more people come in and more people in. And the better the value is, the higher I raise the price month by month, year by year, depending on how quickly I can really improve. And I measure everything with the NPS, with the Net Promoter Score. Otherwise, I don't really know if it's really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I remember Tim Ferriss inspired me so much because he wrote his book, global bestseller, the 4-Hour Work Week, and he just tested for $100 a Google ad to test some titles for the book. And this was the one that got more clicks, so he went with that, which is much smarter than most publishers do.
Wow.
They think about it, but they don't get the data.
That's interesting.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So tell us about your coaching program. Who should apply? When can people apply?
Yeah, no, I mean, it could be for anyone, but it typically, it's for existing coaches, consultants, and service providers. I've had all 3 go through the program on those, coaches, consultants, service providers. All 3 go through, and I found that those are typically the best students I can help the most. And it's just a matter if it's a good fit. It's not rocket science what I teach. It really is. I just explain it to you. It's not rocket science. It's a strategy that people are currently using. It's not hard to do. You just got to follow the process and follow the systems, and it's amazing. And what can happen to anyone, any coach, any consultant, any service provider. It's amazing what can happen to their business when they start getting on, a radio show or podcast, and they start leveraging the audience and creating relationships with these people, and start, they're building credibility, and they're getting exposure out to hundreds of thousands of people. And the same exact system, has gotten me exposure to almost 40 million people, close to that, just over the last couple of years. And it didn't cost me a dime in advertising, none, not a dime in advertising. I've done paid advertising. I still do it sometimes if it makes sense, but specifically for this strategy, it can do wonders for coaches, consultants, service providers. And like I said, it's just go to my website and just book a call, and it's as simple as that. It's not hard to do. If it's a good fit for both of us, then it's a good fit for both of us, and we'll move forward.
You have also created a gift for us. Where can people get it?
Yes. Get Organic Sales is a website. So getorganicsales.com. So getorganicsales.com/strategy sprints. And that's dedicated to the audience of the show. Go to there, give me your information, and then you have access to a masterclass. The masterclass is a presentation I did when I dive deep into this subject. It's about an hour and 15 minutes long, but it's a masterclass that people went to, and it's great. It's fantastic. It's gotten rave reviews. But I have it free for you guys. Again, you can get access to this masterclass, getorganicsales.com/strategy sprints, and the masterclass is yours.
Beautiful. And what did you recently change your mind about?
I recently changed my mind about, a lot of things, but it wasn't until, man, there's so much to do. I recently changed my mind. I wouldn't say recently. I would say maybe over the last couple of years, I would say changed my mind about warm email marketing. Before I was like, and I still am an expert, in cold email marketing. I partnered with Amazon, through cold email, and I'm a partner with another Fortune 100 company. I've talked with dozens of Fortune 100 executives through cold email. So I'm so good at emailing when it comes to like cold prospecting. But ironically, before I got into all this, I had an audience built, on an email list, but I emailed them 0 times, none. I had an audience coming in. And that was what I was telling you earlier. I didn't really learn how to continue the conversation after the shows. So it's taken me a while, and that's something that's something huge that I changed my mind about with time. But it's so big, so if anyone here listening, if you have an audience, it doesn't even have to be email, but it can be, if you have an audience that you communicate with, social media or Instagram or Facebook, but communicate with them. It's as simple as that. And even if it's something personal or just try and do it, communicate with them. It makes a big difference. And that's something I changed my mind about because I wasn't doing that before. And there's really no reason why not to. It really isn't. So I communicate with my audience a lot through email. So I changed my mind about that, where before I was like, I'm too busy to do that. But in reality, that's your business. That's your audience. They're the ones who love you and want to learn from you and purchase from you and keep you going. And so you really have to put the time into what matters, which is your audience who wants to hear from you. And so I'd recommend. That's what I changed my mind about over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I cannot support that enough. Email list. If for 15 days I don't send anything because I just forget, then people call me and say, Simon, everything okay? I didn't hear from you.
Yeah.
This is really important. And who should be my next guest?
Your next guest, I would say that the exact person I nominated earlier, which would be Tanner Chitster. He's amazing. He's great, and he's mentioned to me too that he enjoys getting on podcasts as well. And he's someone who can come on here on your show and just deliver absolute fire to your audience. He's great, knows what he's talking about, good speaker, and just he'd be my nomination for your show.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, Ryan, and come back soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invite. Had a blast. Merry Christmas to you and your audience, and I hope to be back soon.
Thank you.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint